Hey everyone, today we have very special guest with us. We have very special artist from Saudi Arabia. His name Mishaal. Welcome Mishaal to the show.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Mishaal, you have very interesting music. You have like the E-pop music type. So tell us like how you find like music, how you starting like discovering music.
Well, when I was around 9 years old, my family we would listen to a lot of these like CDs that we would get, and it'd be like compilation CDs. So the first, I never heard an album until like 2016, and all I would listen to when I was young was like best of compilations of like singles. So it's like best of Michael Jackson, or best of Metallica, or Pink Floyd, or Elvis, and yeah, just all of these old songs.
That's
And now like making music with like a computer and stuff, using inspiration from those really old but good songs. I think that's
and
how
also,
I,
and
I
also
feel
like you
about
discover
making.
the music at the age of 9. How you discover music and related to kind of broken your arm. So it's kind of like a special story.
Yeah, so the same time when I was 9 years old, I started really falling in love with the idea of a guitar, but I still didn't like play or have one or anything. And then I break my arm. I can show you guys actually the scar.
Wow.
uh, yeah,
Yeah.
it's like it's pretty bad,
Yeah.
but it looks good.
Yeah.
And because of that, there was no
Uh-huh.
physiotherapy. So the way that I got it better to like heal the nerves and stuff like that, the nerve damage, was to play guitar. So the doctor just showed me a few chords to play, and I started going from there. And that's how I started writing and started singing and everything. I used to actually do the adhan in my school five
Wow.
times a day, which is like the call to prayer, and that's how I would practice my voice. So
That's
that's how I knew how to sing.
that's a really interesting story. So it's a more onto like it meant to be happen, right? So if it was not that
Yeah.
accident, maybe you will not be in the music space, right?
No, yeah, exactly. I would definitely not have been making music if it wasn't for breaking my arm.
Wow. Okay. And also like you starting like your music at 2018, right? So you starting recording your demo with the Xbox. So how it goes for you like recording music with the Xbox?
So I'm a very very shy person, as you can tell, and I felt like too shy to go to a studio or go to like any place where I'll have to like talk to people and stuff like that. So instead, I decided to just use my computer at home, and I play a lot of video games. So I just connected my Xbox mic, and I just started making songs like that through my Xbox mic, using like the phone, using like GarageBand, and then also making my own little DAW to use. And that's how I started making music. And before that, the only things that I would release were like these. If you write on Google, like if you just write Mishaal on YouTube, you'll find like a bunch of these like little clips of singing, and people started taking them and started looping them and stuff like that. And then that's when producers started sending me beats from like lo-fi and stuff like that. And then that's when I started making music with Xbox mic, like Kid Goku, Addicted, even yeah, Kid Goku, Addicted, and Runaway. Those three were done on an Xbox mic, and there's a bunch of other like songs as well. Like there was a song that I did like a little clip of it on Instagram, and then someone took it and made like a whole like rap song out of it from Russia. And that was in 20 that was like 2019 or something like that.
Yeah.
It was weird, man. It was like really weird. People started just like taking these little clips of me singing and like putting it on loops and putting it everywhere. Like there's now I think 150 million streams of just those like little loop things.
But the interesting things, Mashal, like for example, like when you starting making demo, for example, on 2018, it was really like your intention to make music, or is it more into like trying to express yourself and that moment how you feel about it, right?
Yeah, it wasn't for I didn't want to put out any of the music. I didn't want to like. That's why even when I would release the stuff like the little singing clips on Instagram, it was just to like get it out of my chest almost. It wasn't ever to like, I don't know. I never saw myself as being a singer or like wanting to do that. I wanted to do computer science.
Yeah,
I wanted to, yeah.
this is
So
this is nice.
it's
Computer
weird.
science and music. That's like the
Yeah,
ultimate mix of science.
yeah.
Okay, Mashal. Also, like you spend a lot of time like overseas, you know. So how it worked, the inspiration for your music, like being an overseas.
I say it doesn't. When you're making music, I don't think it matters where you are. I think the best time to make music, at least for me, is in the morning, and the sun shines wherever you are. It goes up wherever you are, and I think we're when it comes to making a song, you just have to be honest. You just have to be like honest with yourself,
Yeah.
and that's what I think makes it connect with other people. It doesn't matter what the song is about. All that matters is that it's true, and then people will also feel their feelings towards it that are true.
I think now it really makes sense when you was just talking about like people taking part of your music and kind of like sync it on YouTube, because I want to go with my next questions. We're talking about like your song "Friends," which is it's so amazing project that actually all the fans creating kind of their own version of the song and their own videos. That's like
Yeah,
2018. Bring it back. Like it's already kind of like it's happening in 2018, and in 2020 you make it as a song. So what is the inspiration behind like Friends song? And it's very inspiring in terms of the music, in terms of like the lyric. So tell us about like Friends.
thank you, man. Well, when I wrote it, I was very, I was very, very lonely. It was before quarantine started, but I was away from all of my friends. I left at the time. I was just left Jeddah. I went to New York, and it was the winter time. And I remember being like in my room and like then going to the studio and then going back to my room and going to the studio. I didn't like have any of my friends that I would talk to. So I missed them all, and I felt like I was like isolated from everybody. And I wanted that song to kind of like give that feeling, or not even give that feeling. Just I was just trying to like say how I feel in the song. And then 3 weeks later, quarantine starts, coronavirus happens, and then everybody is in the same position that I was in the winter. We're all isolated from our friends. We're like doing work and doing back in our room, doing work and back in our room, and we can't like leave. You feel like everybody's away from you. You can't like hug anyone. You can't like touch anyone, and like it was just honest. And then I felt like, oh, it could have like a rapper should be on it. I remember I was taking a shower, and then it was like there could be a really cool rapper that would be on it, and I don't know any rappers except for Powerful that I know of, like in Instagram or anything like that. So I ran right out of the shower. I was still in the studio. It was like in the morning, and I run to the computer room in the studio, and I open up the session, and I go and I open up also my Instagram live. So I put it up there and I play the song, and you can even still see it now. I think it's a post on my Instagram, so
Yeah.
you can actually go there and find it. It's even just, I'm still like fixing my hair and stuff. I'm saying like, oh, Pavuk should be on this song, and then a lot of my fans went and started like just like spamming him to be like, be on the song, be on the song, and then he got on the song, and
Wow.
that's how it came together.
It's very inspirational story. And I want to ask you, like, Mishal, how you go from just like, because I can understand like you're a little bit shy, you know, how you went from recording Xbox and going to studio to record. What is like the step from just recording at home to go to studio? When did you decide to do this step and how you feel about it?
It was actually the people on the internet that convinced me to do it. So a lot of the times they would be like, Mishaal, you have all these the songs you're showing us on guitar and stuff from like IG Live and all that is like much better than like the songs you're making with the other people's beats, like the lo-fi songs like Kid Goku or Addicted and any of that stuff. So they're like, go, you should go to a studio, you should go to a studio, you should go to a studio. And eventually I found this studio that was in New York that was like you pay $30 to go there for an hour and record. like $30 per hour. So I'm thinking, okay, no way I'm gonna spend more time than 1 hour. That's pretty expensive. I'm just gonna go there for the $30. Khalas, that's it. So I go there and I meet this guy called Greg, and then we start working on a song, and we just stay there the whole night until 6 a.m. the next morning. And it felt like, I don't know. It was like, imagine you have all these ideas, right, for like paintings in your head. So, and then you finally get a paintbrush. That's what it felt like to be in that studio. That's exactly what it felt like. It's like you have all these ideas in your head of how to make these songs, and then you finally have this like thing in front of you where you can hit these notes on a piano and you can have any sound you want in the world. And then just having that freedom, I went crazy. And we have, alhamdulillah, we had a lot of fun. And then Greg, the next day, I was telling him, dude, how am I gonna pay for this, dude? We
Yeah.
stayed here till 6 a.m. the next morning. He goes, don't worry about it, for free. But Ash, it's okay. And
Yeah.
we still work together on every song.
Wow, this is really like a lovely story. And I think is I want to ask you like how you find like the passion for computer science, where for example like you really like love music. Why you choose to study computer science?
I was going to study computer science, and then instead I went to go to do music instead. I study music now and engineering and entrepreneurship. It's like no more computer science, and it was because before I came to New York, first when I was like studying in Jordan, I was like I was going through a very very rough time, and there were two things that I had. I had two options of schools to go to. Either I go to New York and I can do engineering but also music, or I go to MIT and I do only computer science.
Yeah.
And I had this option, and then thinking about it, or maybe not even thinking about it. Maybe it was the fact that I didn't think about it at all, and decided I'm not going to go to MIT. I'm not going to do this computer science thing, even though that this was what I've been working for since I was like 12, 13 years old, to go to this school. And I have the opportunity in front of me now. But being in that position where I was so low and so just tired, and nothing nothing helped me like music did. And I know that computer science can't do that for other people, but I know the music can.
So must
And
be
then I
like
thought,
so it must be like this is one of the most difficult like decision you make it in your life because
yeah,
yeah, it's like a um, big call you make because I think like it's more onto like you are an entrepreneur and this is why you was able to do that call. Did you ask like your parent or your friend or like you was kind of like, I'm gonna do this? How it went in your head?
it went in my head, I'm gonna do this. I
Wow.
was, yeah, it really did. You have to sometimes, I think, just do things. If you think too much about something, it'll slip away.
I think this is 100% true, and this is why I always say like every artist is like a small entrepreneur, and it is in the process of discovering what is the potential, you know. And I think right now you made the right choice because I think you realize that nowadays it's not about just like making music; is more onto like every artist is a brand himself and a more like an entrepreneur, you know. So I want to
Yeah.
ask you. Um, when you're starting first doing music and maybe like today music, I think like you find the difference between just what you think about music and when you go dive a little bit and understand about the music, the team, you know, the label behind you and all the stuff, and you find out like maybe people thinking it's just the music, it is like the artist in the studio, but it is like a bigger circle and bigger like team in behind the scenes.
Yeah, it's a whole thing. It's like I only started working with RCA 4 months ago, and honestly, it's so much. It's like a lot nicer because there is a lot that goes behind it, and I feel like people don't talk about it enough. But there is so much work that people do to, like, they try to get your songs in like a movie, or they try to get you to do an interview like this, for example. I would not have been able to do an interview like this if it wasn't for the labels and stuff. And like, I know there's a lot of things where people like they almost romanticize the idea of like an independent artist, you know, the starving artist and stuff like that. But no, I completely disagree with that mentality. I think if you can reach a lot of people, if you can do something and work with like a team of people that they all have the same goal in mind, is
Yeah.
to get this music heard by people. And the artists themselves, they're the ones, like I write all of my songs. Every one of those words is mine. And if I focus on my music, they focus on trying to get it heard. And as long as it's pure, it's honest, and it has good intentions, I'm happy.
Wow. I think, yeah, you're right, because I think the mission of the artist is to make his music heard, and you cannot reach the whole world by yourself as an entrepreneur. You need to have people who have skin in the game, which is helping making that time travel faster, because
Yeah.
this is what is the most important thing, which is right now break into the market. Because once you already have some fan base, it's more about scaling. But break into the music market is so difficult, right?
Yeah. I haven't done that yet, obviously. But what's it called? You need a team for that. You can't do that alone. And even if you manage to do it alone, let's say like a TikTok song blows up or something like that, it's not gonna last. It goes up, bloop, it goes right back down.
That's
You
that's really
need you
true.
need it.
That's really true, Mishaal.
Yeah.
And also, I think as part of entrepreneurship, I think it's always like impossible until it's done, because you are also like in very a new, we call it like a genre of music, which is like, we call it the A-pop, which is like an Arab root artist who sing in English, which is like,
Oh, I like that, man.
yeah, bro, that's it is. You don't know about it, right? It's like an
I
entire.
never heard it. No, no.
That's why you are on our station. You're hearing new things. So it is like a new movement. It's called A-pop. So it's officially like we label it. It's called like A-pop because it's a kind of like a culture war. Because especially like for artists who really have Arabic root, it's like we are in that era of like people thinking, oh, he want to sound like American, he want to do this, he don't do that, which is actually music doesn't have any label, which is like every artist have that kind of music genre and the whole world sharing that genre. So nobody owning any genre. Music is universal, right? So how it felt when the first time like starting singing music, any kind of like negativity comment or people like trying to take you away from what you are passionate about. I want to hear about your social media experience.
Yeah, actually it's funny because in the beginning there was no negative comments, and like still like it took a while. The only I started getting negative comments, I think, literally 2 weeks ago.
Wow.
two, 2 weeks ago is when I started getting negative comments, but there weren't anything like um like it didn't make much sense. And it's funny because you find yourself like noticing the negative comments more than like the positive ones in a weird way. But luckily for me, there was like I remember seeing like it's in one of the music videos, and then I saw a comment and it was like saying like, "Oh, I hope something like weird, like I hope your mom dies or I don't know what, like something really awful." And then, alhamdulillah, they had like a bunch of other people in the comment section just started be like, "Don't say that,"
Yeah.
just like under it. So I'd say I'm very lucky that like, despite even when I do get negative comments, I have like a very strong fan base that like they got my back, and that makes me feel really good to know that I have like those guys.
If the A-pop industry or the Arab artists can work together and putting hand together in this kind of we call it vertical, I think to become more louder than just like um, and just like it will go even more faster, and this is why I think like you
Yeah,
already starting building that momentum, and I think one of your first official release was like Arabian night. So I think this is really
exactly.
like
Yeah,
even like more into like a movement. So what is the idea behind the Arabian night?
it's exactly that. It's exactly what you're saying. The movie behind, and it's funny because as well, the original name of the song was not Nights with a K. The
Mhm.
original was Nights with an Night, like a night, like nighttime.
Yeah.
But then I was thinking to myself, this is the only song that I could find that's like it's got like an Arab style beat,
Yeah.
with English over it and a little bit of Spanish. It's like global, but it's taking like the Arab, like it's an Arab artist, but pushing it like with music you usually never hear from an Arab guy. So like, no, I'm not gonna. I know there's other people that must be doing this as well in their bedrooms or I don't know what. So we're all the Arabian Nights, and that's what we're gonna be. That's what it's gonna do.
That's so
So I
true.
put it out, and then I started getting a lot of like feedback on it and stuff like that, and like people like sending me their music as well. And there were a lot of like kids in like Lebanon, and then Saudi even, and then like Egypt and Dubai and Abu Dhabi and all that, and they're like all just like making this music, and it's in English, it's in Spanish, some of it is in French, and it's just like that's so cool, you know. And it's like it's new and you never hear it, and that just made me feel like okay, this of course it's in a small scale,
Yeah.
but I think with time that this A-pop thing can actually be a thing. We just have to like get out of our shells a little bit and support each other.
I think this is really like not just only a hope, it is a mission, as you said, because we cannot like changing things if we don't have that optimist, you know. And I feel like you already have that optimist, that you believe that you can actually disrupting things from your side, because everyone must be trying to make things different, because yes, there is a lack of support, there is a lack of awareness, and still like that I don't consider as like a major category to support, you know. And this is why I want to
Yeah.
ask you like like before, when you're just doing music, and then there is very interesting story how actually some label approaching you, you know, and then you was have a phone call, and then the head of the label has to travel to meet you. So there is a
Oh,
kind
you
of
heard about
like I have my sources, right? So I think there is some kind of weird things that like happen. Yeah, share with us a story.
okay, so the first time, this was before I wanted to like make music for like anybody else or anything like that. I was in the studio, and it was when I started going to the studio with Greg and Mike, who was the studio manager at the time. And I would be in this little room. It's like a cramped room called Studio B. It's not even the one that they put on the website. And the studio manager was like, if we write songs, like if you help me write songs, because he used to write songs. So he'd be like, if you help me write songs with these like other artists, like every once in a while, you can use the studio for free. So after I was like, well, that's a good deal, man. I'll take it. So so I decided, okay, cool. Man, I would sleep in that studio. I would bring my pajamas, I'd bring my like clothes and like toothbrush and everything, and I would sleep in the studio. I'd just be making music 24/7.
Wow.
And that was for like a year. And then the people would go to Studio A, which was like the big studio, the big room, which was not the room that I was in. I was in the little room where like you can't fart inside, because if you fart, you stink up the whole room. So whenever you wanted to fart, you go outside.
Yeah.
And there was an A&R guy from there was like a record label dude going to have a meeting with a rapper who was in the big room, and the rapper in the big room was Rich the Kid. And he's going there to meet Rich the Kid, and then he stops midway, and then he hears a song that Greg and I are making, because one of us was waiting outside because we
Yeah.
were farting.
Yeah.
And the door is open, and
Yeah.
he hears it, and he goes, huh. So after he goes into the room, he cancels his meeting with the rapper, and instead he tries to like we just have a conversation. Like he asked like, oh, who wrote, like who's singing the song? After Greg's like, oh, he's singing. He's like, who wrote the song? He's like, he's then who's and who produced it? He's like, also him. And I was like, and he's like, who are you? I was like, hi, my name's Mishaal and stuff like that. So we started talking, but I didn't want to. He was saying like how, oh, we should like, you should put this stuff out, and like you can come to LA, and like I'll you know let you meet all these people and everything. But I didn't want to like, I didn't want to do any of that. I mean, this music that I was making in that room was just for me. I was going through like a very just really really rough time during that year, and that music helped me. That was the reason why I would do it. I would go there every day just for like, it was like my own special thing.
Yeah.
And the first song that's actually going to be released that was made during that year that I was in there is Bruce Lee, and it's not out yet. but it's coming out with the EP. It's the intro.
Mhm.
That's and that's like the. It feels weird almost releasing it because it's so like personal, you know.
Yeah.
It's so like in here,
Yeah, I know
and
how
it
that's
makes
feeling. Yes, of course. Yeah. And then
and
you have the head
oh
of the
yeah, so
yeah.
oh yeah, so I said no, thank you. I was very polite about it. I told him like no, thank you, and then 2 weeks later, more people started hearing about it. I don't know how, but then there was another person that came from another label also, but from California, still not in New York, even though I was in New York.
Mhm.
And then they came to the room. They're like, "Okay, are you the one who's in the little room making this music?" And after, like, yes, I refused that one as well politely. And then fast forward a few months, and I meet my manager, who's Nathan, who's my current manager right now. I meet him because I was doing like a school project, and like part of the school project, you have to like submit a song they produced. And I was like, well, I have all these songs that I made during this year. I can just like submit this as a final project. So I submitted as a final project. Then they play it in class, and then the kids in the class, they liked the song, and they just like downloaded it from the school website thingy, and then they just one of that students was interning for a dude called Nathan, and Nathan is the one who's my manager.
Wow.
So that's how we met, is through that guy that liked the music from hearing it as my homework project.
Hmm.
And that song actually is coming out also with the EP. It's the Run Baby,
Yeah.
and it's coming out in early October.
That's really
Oh,
interesting.
that's very soon. That's like, yeah, that's like almost, wow, that's very soon. A few days.
Time flies.
And, and what's it called?
You get a call from
After
Italy.
that, yeah, Nathan first was like, can I send, he came, we met and everything, and after he told me, can I send some of this music out like to people? I told him, okay, yeah, sure. So he sends the music out, and then these two heads of labels hear about it, like hear the song because of Nathan. One of them is Ferdy, and another one is Sylvia. And then they came to New York, and like we met for dinner, and that was like my first actual meeting with them. And they were lovely, they were so nice. And then I had breakfast again with Ferdy the next morning, and I still work with him now. He's the head of Columbia Records in the UK, and that's the partner. So I'm signed to RCA in the US, and I'm also signed to Columbia in the UK.
Wow, this is really like very inspiring to other artists to hear the story. That's why I kind of highlight that story because um, people need to believe like everything can be happen at any moment, so that they just need to be ready and need to put like 100% whatever they're doing, either music or art or computer science or anything. Like be ready, right?
Very true. Yeah, a lot of it is. I mean, here's the thing: just if you focus and just do what you love. Like I wasn't making the music for anybody. If you like your own music, that's all that matters. You have to love your music. Don't ever go around and be like, hey, do you like this? Do you think I should do this? Do you think I should do that? Don't ask other people. Just you've got your taste and you've got your sound.
Yeah.
Just don't be afraid to do what you like for yourself, something that you just want to listen to, and then other people will come and things will fall into place.
I think, yeah, I totally agree with you, Mishal, because I think one of the most typical things that we hear here in the region, which is like for a lot of artists, they need to be sound like this or sound like that, which is you cannot survive making music by just doing what is trendy because always trend has been changed and shifting and shifting and shifting. So it's better be yourself and be what is your best. And your fan will love you the way you are. So you don't need to change just to please the label or pleasing other people, which is like be yourself, as you said, right?
Yeah, exactly. If you genuinely love your own music, then I can guarantee you someone out there does too.
Wow. Yeah, this is 100% true. I wanted to ask you about the question, like, why did you like making the move to US, and what is the story behind uh, going to New York University? So, just like I want to understand, like, why you make this move?
It was uh, I do you know the story?
I think I know the story, but I want the audience to know the story.
Um, it was like, can I? So when I was in Jordan, uh, I had these friends of mine that were with me, and this was when I was applying for schools and stuff. And man, I don't know if I feel comfortable talking about it. I'll just
Okay.
I was going through like a like some stuff happened,
Yeah.
and some people very close to me passed away, and they always wanted to come here. They always wanted to come to New York, and they wanted me to come with them.
Yeah.
And after they passed away, I thought it's only right, to come here for them and their honor, and do something that will. I know I'm not going to be here forever.
Yeah.
It's funny. You, everybody everybody goes someday, and before I go, I want to do something that can actually help people. And there's only so much the computer science can do to help people, but there's a lot that a song can do.
Yes, I think the first approach for music. First, I want to say like my soul be in peace, because everyone have certain like impact on us in our life, and we have lost a lot of people. But in the same time, I think your first, we call it like genuine interaction with the music was through your accident. So if you don't really like broke your arm, music will not help you to create it like your own feeling. And always you're right, you mentioned that music can be huge medicine, and even science itself, like you can be having a rough day or whatever thing, and then you go just like putting your headphone on, go with the music, go with your mood, because everyone have different mood and everyone have different type of music, but yeah, I think you're right. Maybe with computer science you can help some technical issue or some algorithm, but I think with the music you can help a lot of million of peoples around the world going through something, and can be that song meant to them something, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
And I think really like I want to talk about like some happy moment with the last singles, Pedal Bike, which is also like you have an injury as well in the music video.
Yeah, I did. I was doing the I was doing the visualizer for it for the music video,
Yeah.
and I was just riding on this like bike that you pedal it to make it work, but it was very old. This bike is like maybe
Wow.
60 years old,
Yeah.
so it barely works. So sometimes it just like stop, sometimes it go very fast and then like stop again.
Yeah.
And then in the very final take of the video, I was going, I couldn't stop, and I tried to turn,
Mhm.
and then I got stuck on a rock, and then my bike just went, flew up behind me, and I just like scraped my arm onto the ground, and I had like a really bad fall. But I got the video all done before that, which
Yeah.
is really good. I feel like everything happens for a reason as well.
I want to ask you, being from Saudi Arabia, I think like the region music really inspire you, and a lot of artists from the indie music in the region. Okay, any artist come in your head or anything that you listen from the region in terms of music, from the A-pop,
From the A-pop,
A-pop or the Arab music in general, or like English music artists?
yeah, there's this song actually that I heard recently that I really like. I think it's called like the Dam. But a lot of the stuff that I really really like to listen to from our music, and what inspires a lot of the songs as well, is the old stuff, honestly, because I really think that when if you look at what's going on right now and you use that as inspiration, you'll never make something new.
Yeah.
But if you go and like take a step back and look at like songs like Ahwak by Abdul Halim al Hafiz, which is like one of my favorite songs, man, and
Right.
like or songs from by Kulthum,
Yeah.
and then you take those like little, like the way they produce the songs, or the way they like have like the little melody that always stays there, you know, in the very back, and it's like in a certain scale that you would only hear in Arab music.
Yeah.
Like that's what the Pedal Bike song,
Yeah.
the melody in the back of the Pedal Bike song, if we hear it by itself, it's a very, very like Kulthumi style melody. But it just goes on repeat, 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 repeat with a guitar, electric guitar, with a kick and snare over it, like the song Sweater Weather
Yeah.
from the Neighborhood. And it's like, what am I listening to? It's like a mixture of this stuff. So it still has the Arab influence. It still has that root in it, but it's something new.
Yeah.
And if you hear it, you'll never think Kulthum. You'll never think any of that. You'll just be like, oh, this is something new. And I'm proud to have made something like that coming from where I'm from.
You are just like few block away from making your dream happen true, bro. You know, so that's something really, I'm proud of you that to say that. And you are already just at the starting point, you know, and there is a lot of things you can achieve within your music. And especially, Mishaal, you have something more unique, which is like, you can translate your passion for music with different language, and there is no more powerful than languages, because with languages you can enter to new market, you know. And this is, I think, another thing, I keep it for the last part of the interview. Okay. What was your meeting when first time you was talking with label? I think you have that question in your head, why you choose me, right? I'm from Saudi Arabia. Why?
Yeah. Yeah, I was very confused, man.
Right?
I don't know.
Yeah.
That was a very big question in my head. The whole time I was thinking that. The whole time I was thinking, why? What the hell? Why? What? Me? Really?
Yeah.
I didn't understand it. I still don't understand it.
But I highlighted to you, bro. I think your deal was aligned with the Live Nation deal. So right now, you're going to have more visibility on the region, especially when it comes to performance. Hopefully, this pandemic will over very soon. And I'm really looking forward to your first live performance in Saudi Arabia, in arena or something huge, you know, because that's something really like, I think that's the most rewarding moment for the artist, right? Which is like to go stage and see audience live and singing to them without internet,
Yeah.
without streaming, right?
Yeah, I can't wait for that, man. I can't wait for after quarantine to be able to do that.
I think, yeah, bro, you already like building that momentum. And I think right now we're going to be hearing more from your upcoming music. Like, tell us, Mishaal, what you are working on at the moment. What is your upcoming projects?
Okay, so right now I'm just finishing up actually something that's coming out in early October, either next week or I think it might be next Friday actually coming out, either next Friday or the Friday after that, and it's my first EP.
Wow.
And it's like not obviously it's not the album yet, but it's like imagine like before the album. So it's like the not chapter one, but the prelogue. Introduction.
Maybe we can have a scoop at least for the name of the AP.
Life's a Ride.
Wow, that's
called Life's a Ride.
That's really very inspiring, Mishaal. Always you really have the right choice, brother.
Thank you, man.
That's really
interesting. The picture of it actually, it was taken in like 1992, and it was my uncle taking a picture of my father when they were like 18, or no, in 1980 something probably even. And he was in. This was taken in Jeddah, and they're going up on a bike on like a really steep hill in like in the desert, and like just having. And that's the first song that's on that EP and the last song that's on that EP. Those two songs were from the time that I was staying in that studio with Greg. Wow. making that music for a year, like stuck in that little room, Studio B. So those, like, that EP is the first time that you're gonna hear any of the stuff that was made from then. And then inshallah next year or the year later, I'm gonna be releasing the album, which is all the songs that I did in that year.
Yeah, shout out to Greg and your team. I think they have very big role of where you are right now, and they believe in you from the start, you know, because team make big difference, you know, and having team that believe in you, I don't think there is a price tag on that, because you cannot just like hire people with money and think that they can actually help you with the career. It must be, there is a loyalty, and there is really like something synergy between all of you, right? So it's not just like about like right now. It's all about like long term, right?
Yes, exactly. It's the team is three guys. It's me, Mike, and Greg, and
Wow.
none of us has made a penny yet. It's not about the money. Like
Yes.
we're just this is music that we love. This is music that means a lot to us, and it was like an expression. It was just like almost like just bursting it out there. And now you're gonna get your life's a ride is the very beginning when you're gonna start to hear that music.
100%, Michelle, 100%. Okay, I want to wrap this interview with an amazing inspiration message to all the artists in the hip-hop music in the region that's starting or they're already doing music, okay? Um, we want to kind of like create an impact on them. I want to them like, if you are on 2018 or when you was just 9 years old, what is the best advice you give yourself that you learned to this journey about music and how about don't give up whatever happened, you know? I want to like straight to the audience about like
Yeah,
what is your message to every artist in the region that are struggling on going through something.
I'll, t- I'll I'll tell you actually a little thing. Today, if I look on, I get a lot of messages saying like, "Oh, you have such a nice voice," or "Oh, you got a really lovely voice." But when I was not even that long ago, and even in 2018, I live in a family with like two brothers, right? It's only boys. It's three brothers and my parents. My older brother and my little brother hate my singing. They say that my voice is so bad, and they've been saying that since I was 9 years old. Oh, Mishaal, just stop. Your voice is just really bad. Or like they'll joke and stuff like that. I love them, obviously, but like I believe that. I generally, I still think I don't sound good. And I know that when you hear yourself, let's say like when I make a song, for example, then I'll listen back to be like, oh, I sound so bad, or like, oh, it's so cringy, you know. But put it out anyway. That's the best advice that I have for someone. If even if you're making like a little video of yourself singing like a cover of something, put it out anyway. Even if you hate it, put it out. I hated every one of the songs that I've put out so far, and it's okay. I'm okay. It's fine.
Yeah.
Put it out. Don't worry. That's
Yes.
the best advice I have. Just no matter how scared you are, you will always be scared. You will always listen to it back and be like, "Ugh." Doesn't mean it's actually bad. A lot of it could just be in your head, and that song might just save somebody's life. So put it out.
That's really like inspiring, Mishal. I really like admire your mindset, and I really wish you all the best with your music because you have very bright future in front of you, and you're already paving the path for other hip-hop artists because they have something kind of like reference, um, like a role model that can be very inspiring. So right now, Mishal, you're not just an artist; you are having very heavy responsibility to become a role model for other artists that they want to become the other face of the hip-hop here in the region, and you become a hope to them because I think like without your story, it's very hard to people think like, oh, I'm gonna be work with some major label or they believe in my music or stuff. But right now, I think it's more onto like we are opening door for them to become even believing in that one day they can achieve if they just like be yourself, don't give up, and don't listen to people who tell you that your sound is sucks because you just need to drop it. As Mashar said, just drop the track and let the community
Yeah.
and the bigger people to listen to the music because one person opinion cannot stop your career and your dream, which is not fair.
Yeah, dude. All right.
All right, man.
Uh, Thank you for
Okay.
having me, man.
Of course, man. All the best, man. Okay. Keep going and keep blessing us with your blessing voice. Okay.
Thank you, man.
Thanks, man. Take care. Have a nice day. Bye bye.